Okay. Let's go to. Can we go to again? Then Justice.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Okay, in regard to the effects of the hired goons or on the peaceful protest we had yesterday, what I would suggest is if for the future demonstrations, like somebody yesterday suggested, we be having our own stewards, our own bodyguards, like people form human shields around our own protesters. That way, if there are any hired goons, they will not be part of the group, but they will be outside. So that was one of the things we can do. Others also suggesting that because the goons mostly come to the CBD, we can do especially for Nairobi, we can be doing the demonstrations along the highways like Thika Road, Waiyaki Way, Langata Road, and Mombasa Road. So we agree where we protest, and then also within those areas we have our own stewards who have reflectors, clearly written stewards, and then they will be around our own protesters. So if there are any goons, we will be able to notice them. Then what also I can also say is the fight you can do is number one, as Generation Z and Millennium, personally I'm a Millennium, we were suggesting that as we fight the corrupt system right now, for future election purposes, we can have our own political party. So millennials are age 45 and below. So once we have our own party and our candidates are 45 years and below, we can now do what you call vetting for every position. We can start from the members of parliament down to the MCAs and the rest, even up to the Senate seat. Because the constitution allows a president to be 35 years and above, then you can even have a president from there. So that is one of the long-term solutions for this regime change. We have a political party for millennials and Gen Z. Then number two, we were talking about corruption. We were suggesting that everyone in their profession, like now if you have engineers, they are supposed to be now doing what you call audits on the Ministry of Infrastructure. And then for health, we have the doctors and the nurses. For somebody like me, I'm an auditor. We can be auditing how EACC operates and also the Ministry of Treasury and even now the Parliament in regards to the budget process, because we understand how budgets are done. I'm a graduate of Strathmore University, School of 2011. So we understand how these budgets are done. Even clearly by just looking at the budget, we can even tell whether those allowances are overstated or they are not even making any sense. We don't even have to go too much into it, we can tell. So we can assist the population doing civic education in terms of how can this budget process be done? And if you can go alongside there was a, what do you call it? There was a bill.
Please land.
Pardon?
Please land. You can summarize in the next 30 seconds so that we can give other people time.
Oh, sorry. My next agenda was, if you notice today in social media, we were trying to target several ministries which have been doing corruption. That also can be the way forward for this movement. Because that way, if you push these ministries to reduce corruption, then definitely we'll reach a true towards end. So we are starting with the tail as we go towards the head. Because, of course, it's difficult for us to occupy the State House, but you can start with this CS. So I think that is the best way forward for us. We start for ministries. From every ministry that is corrupt, we get the information, we occupy there, and then that would be the best way for us to go. I think because of time, I would end it there.
Okay, thank you. I've seen Tabitha is almost ready. Tabitha, if you're ready, just raise your hand.
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Okay, step in. All right. Now, our conversation today are mostly focused on goons. I know when we have too much information, we might lose our focus. But this has always been the problem. Just before We have Tabitha and academia next. This has always been the problem. Now, in any human history, they have always recycled a way to make other people look bad before they proceed to the killings and anything else. The first way is always to make people look like they're savage. It has always happened with the blacks. It has always happened with the Indians, even from the colonial era. It's always just to make people look bad. Like, these people are savages. They're killing people. They are robbing. They're thieves. All those things. That's what's happening right now. But this is a big question that we're supposed to ask. Now, for every places that were robbed with the goons, you can always count by means of time. How long does it take the security officers or the police to arrive there? How long does it take? Now, I was in a demonstration last week on Thursday in Rongai, and it really went bad. Now, the first time we were demonstrating, there were infiltrators who were very busy robbing people. And you saw what happened to them. The members of public, we were the ones demonstrating. In fact, I took a few photos. They were stripped naked and received a few strokes of canes. And we took them to the police station, Nyotu, together. Now, that's what happened. So it can tell you that we have an agenda that we're going in, but there are people coming in infiltrating some sort of thieves, which means that there's another story that's coming in. So all I'm saying is let's be vigilant and let's follow this story of goons. It was a new thing. It's something that has always been happening throughout history. They keep on recycling. Now, before I talk too much academia, then Ndolo.
Yes, thank you, Wadapa. For me, I think dealing with this kind of barbaric behavior and hooliganism, we just have to face it. The only way that you can thwart all the efforts made by government and any other thing relies in our numbers. If people go to the CBD in large numbers, there is nothing they can do. The only thing, there is only one common goal in revolution or in any fight, especially the one we are doing, is people to go or come out in large numbers. There is nothing people are going to achieve, whether you use tactics or what, it will still come back to numbers.
There's somebody speaking.
So I think when we are in large numbers, we will overcome or outsmart or outdo any other irrelevant things. And the aim of demonstration must be what we say, it hurts, you hit where it hurts most. So if you are demonstrating along the highway and there is no effect, you see, when you go outside, it must have value. There must be something you are standing out.
What about, is anybody speaking?
So we cannot demonstrate where the effect is not going to be felt. So we must bring the entire operation of the government, which is highly concentrated in Nairobi. That is the essence of giving. Otherwise, if you want to demonstrate in the field and go back home, there is nothing we're going to do. So we must go in large numbers to pass that message. And this kind of ogalism or barbarism kind of behavior, what they are trying to do, they are trying to do that is a kind of threat. That is a divide and rule method, so that they will always employ such kind of tactics. Or if you are afraid of that, then there is nothing we are going to achieve, because they are ready to do that as long as you are going out. So the only time that we will thwart all those methods or tactics is by turning in large numbers as persistently pursuing that common which we must do. So our effort, our aim, everything we are going to do must rely in numbers. As long as we are focused on what we are going to do, we must go where our presence must be felt, and the effect must be felt by the government. We cannot afford to go to Thika Road or where. If it is Thika Road, it must be Thika Road to the sense that there is no anything that can, we must paralyze something. That is the essence of demonstration. Otherwise, if we leave it, we can go to demonstrate to Uhuru Park, Kasarani and all that, we will go home. They will continue doing other things. So I think, as I learned, let us unite, let us not be swayed by other tactics of government. We know that they will do that. As long as we move to the streets, there will always be goons. The hooliganism will be thwarted when we come in large numbers. That is the only way we can overrun them. Otherwise, if we fear them, there are some few elements. For us, let us go in good numbers and go where we feel or where our presence must be felt. Let us not misuse that opportunity. Let us concentrate where, when we go there, that number alone will interfere, will paralyze so many other things, and as a result of that, we are able to achieve what we can do. And it must be consistent and persistent. Otherwise, if you are not ready to face such kind of forces, then you better sit back at home, because you must, when you go out, expect such kind of behavior. They are there, but those are the things that we want to change. So if we are afraid of them, we are not going to make any change. So we must confront them head on.
Okay.
That does not mean we use crude weapons. No. Let us go peaceful and demonstrate that we are after change, and that which we must do. Whether they are goons or not, we are going to turn in large numbers. So I say
Academia, you are landing.